If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza. Plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book. Over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
The madness continues. Happy Monday, everybody. It is March 10th. This is Sports by the Book. We're heating up 6 days until Selection Sunday. A lot of conference tournaments to go through. We'll have you covered here on Sports by the Book. Also, NBA, NHL teams really trying to clinch their playoff berth here down the stretch, and baseball about to start. So it is a great time to be in the sports world, especially the sports betting world. We're happy that you could be with us here today. Again, 7 days a week, Sports by the Book. Today you have father-daughter duo at the desk. He's Kenny White. I'm Alex White. Again, happy to be here with you. Good morning, Dad. How are you today?
Good morning. I don't know. It's just been such a long day. I'm glad I'm winning, because maybe if I didn't, I would take the day off. It's just so much work, and I'm glad. I hate it to have to come to an end, but I'm glad it's coming to an end. I can't wait till April now. It's just nonstop, and there's so many games, and there's so much to do. And today's just starting. The women's started over the weekend, and they play a lot of games. There's women's basketball all day today. They started at 9 a.m. a couple of games. Now there's some tipping off at 10, and they'll be going all day. And there's a lot of really good games, because for some reason they start their tournaments. The bigger conferences already started their tournaments, which I don't know why they start so soon, because their NCAA tournament starts a day or two after the men's.
That's what I thought. And then when is their selection? Is it Sunday as well?
It's probably Sunday as well.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. What day is it?
Sunday.
Yeah.
Very good. And
figured it was, but yeah. Some great games yesterday. There was some amazing games yesterday. UCLA and USC for the Big Ten. I was going to say the Pac-12, the Big Ten championship. Those two moved there, and they play for the championship. USC dominated both regular season games, and UCLA down 10 at half, came back and stormed back and won the game. Duke and NC State battled for the ACC championship. NC State had won both regular season games and got a big early lead, and Duke stormed back and won that game easily. Texas played South Carolina, 2 of the top 5 teams in the country, and South Carolina lost earlier in the year to Texas, which broke a 57-game SEC winning streak or something like that. It was a huge streak. And South Carolina got their payback yesterday. So revenge factor worked really well in all 3 of those games.
And if you have been following us, we do like to talk about the revenge factor quite often here on Sports by the Book. I know a lot of people jump in the chat, and they really liked it as we really started getting into college basketball and this season. Speaking of the chat, please make sure you check out our ticker below the lower thirds there, because we do have our trivia question coming to you soon. Great trivia question. Shout out to the crew behind the glass. We've got Andrew, Ryan, and Vince all with us today, and I think that question is a lot of fun there. So we'll let you guess at the end. And,
I didn't even see it.
And we'll let the
it ran across the ticker at the bottom. It must have ran really fast.
Yeah, it's way down there. I don't think you can read it, but I'll tell you. Well, do you want to know now?
Is that an old joke?
I think we're supposed. No. It's because it's not on our big monitor there.
Oh.
Okay. Are you sure? I thought it was supposed to be whoever read it first.
He did. Jay already answered it already. He answered it before the question even came out. I don't know about this.
All right. Of the 3 service academies, which team has never made an appearance in the NCAA tournament? Army, Navy, or Air Force?
Army.
That is the correct answer. They have never appeared in the NCAA tournament. They turned down their only invitation in 1968. Navy, 11 appearances, 2 Elite 8 appearances, and Air Force, 4 tournament appearances.
I wonder if that was Vietnam. 68? I don't know. I think it was. I think it was the Vietnam War.
We'll have to look into that for you. Oh.
Who's Bob Knight? Ryan laughed. They did the Bob Knight 40-year reunion throwing his chair.
Yeah.
To the chair. They did it at, they brought the exact chair out. They still have it.
Against Purdue, right?
Yeah, and they brought the chair out and they had it on the court, right on the bench, and that's the chair he threw. It's too bad he did that because he was such a great coach. But he went on to coach, at Texas Tech, but he was one of the best basketball coaches to ever coach the game.
And then after that game and the big upset over Purdue, that was a great letdown spot for Indiana after that. But you went over a lot of women. So those were the winners of the conferences that you just said?
Yeah, I don't.
Or do we have any, semis, any of them?
That's interesting. I think that the first two I know were the championship games. I can't recall if Texas and South Carolina was the championship game. It probably was. They're the 2 best teams in that conference.
A couple championship games today for the men's, a couple winners yesterday who got their auto bids. So we talked about yesterday, SIUE was the first team. Drake, big win over Bradley, 63-48, won the Missouri Valley. Omaha beats the Tommies, 85-75. We had Omaha taking the points there in that one for the Summit. High Point, 81-69 over Winthrop. And then Lipscomb, 76-65 over North Alabama. Watched that game. They looked very good. And Drake, too. They could give some people some problems. And that is a coach and some teams that came from the D2, right? And all went to Drake with him.
Yes, it is. Brought a lot of transfers with him. The game that I gave out yesterday told people to make sure they checked Incarnate Word.
Yes.
What a great bet that was, except for I knew at halftime when I saw the lead, and I didn't know they were up 18, 29-11, and they were up 7 at halftime. So I only saw the halftime score, and I thought, oh, that's awesome. I took 4.5, I found, on Incarnate Word. Even when I found out Jalen Anderson, the point guard, was playing, he missed the 2 previous games. But if you looked at their team, they were playing so well down the stretch. Great basketball. I said, this is a great bet. And I overbet it. And they're up 7 at half. And I said, well, since I overbet it, they have a losing record in conference, and this is their first ever conference tournament game. I can't believe they know how to close this out. I can't believe they know how to. They're going to lose the lead. So I took 4.5 back with the other side at halftime, and the game went to overtime. I was like, oh no, why overtime? Because I had it middled, but luckily Incarnate Word went on a nice run in overtime. They fell down by 4. The other team scored the first 4 points in the overtime. I was like, oh, here we go. Overtime's another killer to me, but luckily that turned out to be a great result, obviously over betting the game. And then knowing I better get off at halftime, and then ended up middling it. Turned out to be, the finish to a really good weekend. So I was glad to, the information is king in this game. But also, as I say, the power ratings are 75% of the equation. The feel of how the teams are playing is even bigger. So Incarnate Word is playing great basketball. They played really good without their point guard for 2 games, and looking forward to their first conference tournament game. You knew they were going to come out fired up, and they did. 29-11 lead over a team who is supposedly better than them, a team that had a winning record in conference, right, and they had a losing record in conference. I think they were 8-10 and just barely got into the tournament, but they fought to get back in it, and they were playing playoff basketball down the stretch. So I still thought they were the better team with their point guard in the lineup.
Well, it should be interesting with the ACC and the Big Ten. We know those teams that have been playing playoff basketball for quite some time to try and get their spots into the tournament. So maybe we can find some edge with those tournaments coming up. One thing I did notice with yesterday's results is we did have a lot of dogs taking the points.
Yeah.
And it felt like if the underdog didn't win outright, they weren't covering. And I think that came down to a lot of fouling at the end there. But a lot of favorites did end up covering if they were going to win the game, or they kind of just broke free at the end there and got a big enough lead and dribbled it out. You weren't getting any fouls or anything for them to make a comeback for the dogs to cover.
It's a high percentage. When I heard that for the first time in my life, that it was like 80-some%. If the favorite wins the game, they cover the spread.
Wow.
And the same goes for whoever wins the game covers the spread 80% of the time. Well, when you're a dog, it's 100% of the time, but so it's just sometimes the betting line only comes into play 20% of the time, or a little less than that. It might be 18, 17% of the time.
Is this across the board, or is this basketball?
Across the board in every sport.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can look, and maybe that is, if you're making a case for the dog, really make sure that you believe they can win that game outright. And
when you make a case that they can win outright is a really good spot that you have a lot of value taking the points.
Yeah. That's actually, I had a nice run during college football and doing my Sportsbook Wire videos, picking dogs. And we had a nice 5-week stretch of one game, one underdog, and they were winning outright. So I really do like that angle.
Like I said on the women's games yesterday, the 3 big games that all had huge motivational factors. For one of the teams that had the revenge, they lost both regular season games or had the big streak. South Carolina was wire to wire, so you couldn't do anything with them. But Duke, when they fell down early, and it was early in the game, they were down 9. I said, they're going to come back. I got plus $3 for them to win the game. They won by 20. And then I was able to take 9.5, or not 9.5. What did I take? 6.5. I think I took plus 6.5. I'd already laid 2.5. And then the USC UCLA game, I missed that at half. I didn't get it, but I was at Costco on a Sunday, which was a horrible mistake. I just needed a break from numbers and spreadsheets, and I had to get out of the house. So I missed that. I wish I would have taken it. I would have bet UCLA in the second half. They give up 45 in the first half, and I think they give up 15 in the second half. So I'm talking women's. We've got a lot of men's contests today and a big schedule. I've already done numbers for Tuesday and Wednesday's games as well. If you have any questions on any of those.
I would be happy to start and look over some Tuesdays. I had already jumped into some notes for those as well. But I will tell you all 4 of those were championship games. So UCLA winner for the Big 12, Duke for the ACC, TCU over Baylor for the Big 12.
Oh, that one hurt. That was one of my losers. I had plus 4.5 with TCU, and I had them with Baylor.
Yeah.
I had plus 4.5 with Baylor. I had Baylor the last time they played, and that was a revenge factor. They'd lost both games, and they were down big. They were down 15 at one point, and Baylor made their way all the way back. That they cut that to a 1-point game with 12 seconds to go, and I had plus 4.5 and lost the game. They had fouled 2 free throws, put it on 5 or 3, and then TCU missed the 3-pointer with 2 seconds left, rebound, foul with 1 second to go, and the girl hit both free throws to make it a 5-point deficit. But I was down 1, taking 4 with less than 15 seconds to go.
Yes.
That was a tough loss.
64-59 was the final of that one.
If I would have won that, I might not have been here today. Because I can tell you that would have, I had a lot of round robins yesterday, and that was the only loser in almost every round robin. So I might not have been here today.
Well, back here today.
I might have been buying an island.
Back here to go over some of these men's college games, and you might have a couple women's. I heard you say your UNLV women's spread against Boise. It looks like we're taking the points at Boise, huh?
I didn't see the line.
It was like 18, I think.
Oh, is it that high?
It's pretty high.
Yeah, they won both games. They only won by 4 at Boise. They won big here, and it is a home game, so I did give them home.
Yes.
A home court rating, but I didn't give them much. I think I only give them 3. I don't, they don't play in the Thomas and Mack. They play in the auxiliary building next door, which I don't know how many fans they get. I don't think they get a lot. I haven't looked it up. I just don't think they have a great following, but great coach.
It's gotten better. Yeah, with Lindy LaRocque there, it has gotten better, but it is only maybe a couple thousand.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and the Aces being in Las Vegas helped a lot because that actually, they've sold out, I think 2 years in a row now for season tickets. So we have more basketball fans now in Vegas, and
That's
they wanted
true.
more when the Aces aren't playing. So a lot of people have gotten women's basketball.
I've heard that exact. I think I read that in the newspaper, the RJ here, that with the Aces being sold out, a lot of those people that bought season tickets to the Aces have gotten their fix because it's 2 different seasons. The WNBA hasn't started yet, but before the WNBA season gets started, they've got UNLV basketball now. And since Lindy LaRocque has been here, they've got a great program. She's a great coach. She's already, I don't know if she took the interviews, but she's had some SEC schools ask for her to come interview for their jobs. And I know I talked to her dad. She turned a couple of them down already. She wants to stay here. She's a Vegas girl. She grew up here, played at Durango High School, then played at Stanford in college. That may be a job she would take is Stanford because she played there. So, but she's going to go somewhere unless they can pay her here.
And some unfinished business because you can't win the regular season and the conference tournament so many years in a row, go to the big dance and lose in the first game.
Yeah.
Only so many times, right? So
Right.
I think they are definitely motivated to
Get that win
in the tournament. All right, let's go. We've got starting off with the Coastal Athletic here. 2 games on the board for us. Let's start with Delaware and Towson. Towson is a 6-point favorite, total 144.5. Towson did win both games of the regular season.
Yeah, and I adjusted it from 8.5 down to 6. But Delaware's playing their 4th game in a row, 4 straight days. Are they able to do that and come up with a great performance? Maybe. So I don't have a play, though. I lean to Towson and wouldn't mind playing Towson if this thing dropped to 3. I don't think it'll ever drop that low. It will never drop that low. It's already come back up from 4.5 up to 6. I really like Pat Scarry as a head coach. I think he does a very good job. Small schools, and he's never gotten an opportunity at a bigger school, but he's getting up there in age now. I think he'll probably, end his career at Towson. So coaching advantage to Towson, but Delaware, when you win 3 games in a row and now you're 2 games away from going to the NCAA tournament, you're pretty fired up.
Well, here's the other thing. Your offensive and defensive ranks match. No, they're actually, you don't have Towson's offense ranked even as high as Ken Palm. And Ken Palm and you have Delaware's offense much better than their defense, right? Well, they just scored 100 on William and Mary. So
yeah,
they're shooting well. And I guess that is how they're on this run. Those are probably teams you want to back during the March Madness, right? And teams going on crazy runs like this.
Well, it's all momentum, and teams, they start to peak at the right time. This is amazing that this is a team that lost their 11 out of 12. They lost 11 out of their 12 final games of the year.
Wow.
And then the conference tournament starts and they've run off, 3 straight wins. And now they're playing Towson. They got to win 2 more. It'd be 5 games in 5 days. That's always tough to do. But, basketball players always say these guys play every day. And you can imagine in the summertime when they go play pickup games and they play like 6 pickup games in one day or more. So I just don't know how much it affects you. They didn't have to travel. And that's the big thing about playing back-to-back in the NBA. You play in Cleveland, and then after the game, you got to get on the airplane and fly to, Orlando, and then go to the hotel and repack and do all that. And you're in a new city, and then you got to get to the game the next day. That's difficult. But these guys are staying in the same hotel every day, and they just go from the court to the hotel, back to the court. And that's a lot easier than travel. So back to back, I don't think is that difficult right now. I think it's the travel that hurts you, but the number in this game is right on.
Completely different styles of play. Towson wants to slow it down. Delaware wants to run and play fast, and that's why they were 20-9 to the over. But we're taking 5 points off our totals, so staying off of that total and going over in that game between those two, right?
Yeah, I would rather be on unders this time of year than anything over. So I'm right on the total.
UNC Wilmington, a 4-point favorite against the College of Charleston, total 148. Any differences? I believe they split, right? No, UNC Wilmington won both in the regular season.
Yes, they did.
For them too. Okay.
Yeah, so revenge factor there. I had Wilmington 4.5 and adjusted it down to 2. And that number right now at 4, a little money for Wilmington. It's getting to the point where I'm willing to take Charleston plus 4.5. Chris Mack's done a very nice job with this group. 18-12 ATS. Now Wilmington's 18-10. They've had a great year too, plus 7 units if you bet every game. But I like getting the points in these games. This is a big game to get to the finals, and I think it could be a really closely contested contest.
You are getting the better defensive team with Charleston too, and taking those points there. Yeah,
and I like the game under. And this total opened up a lot higher, 151. I think I took Bet Online's numbers yesterday because I did these late last night, and they're the one book that really had almost every game up. So they opened 151 down to 148. If I take 5 points off my total, I'm down to 140, and I like it because Wilmington plays slow. They're going to dictate the pace. They are going to try to, create this into a lower pace game.
So this total has actually been all over the place because it opened high and then it dropped all the way down. It got as low as 146 and a half, and now it's back up to 148.
Yeah. Well, at some point there's always that buyback point, and that looks like it was 146 and it could have been whoever bet under, the 151 or 150 yesterday. And those, that's tricky because there's not high limits on those numbers. I think Bet Online takes $250 and they'll move it 2 points. Circa takes a nickel and they'll move it 1.5 2 points too on their totals. So you can manipulate the market very easily in a lot of these spots.
Let's go to a championship game here. I know you like something in this, and I do as well. And this team's going our way. Arkansas State and Troy, Sunbelt Conference. Now they adopted like the WCC. We had the step ladder, and here we are with the 1 and 2 seed, the two best teams in the conference playing for the auto bid, which is how a lot of these mid-majors should be doing it. But money coming in on Arkansas State. They were 1.5. Now they are up to 2.5. Favorite over Troy in this one, with a total of 142. You like the favorite? You like the Red Wolves, correct?
Yeah, I do. And I was just looking to see that, they were, it was a 4-team tie. 4 teams finished 13-5.
Yeah, you're right.
But these teams both played, both of them are playing their third game in 3 days. Even in the stepladder system, you still got to win 3 games.
Wow.
I'm guessing, or it might have been the 2 other teams. Were these the 1 and 2 seeds from the conference?
I thought so, but maybe I am wrong on that. 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. 1 and 2 got knocked off. So, one thing I did notice in the the NBA years ago when teams played 4 games in 5 nights and 6 games in 9 nights, you'd get a lot of unders. And I always used to think that the more games you play, your legs are out a little bit, your defense goes first. But I think the coaches know that, and the style of play gets slower.
Yeah.
And these games mean so much, they become more half-court basketball games. So that's another big reason I take 5 points off my total. And even taking 5 points off this total, I'm still well above what the number is. Oh, it's up to 142. So that was a really bad number. See, that was bet down from 141.5 to 138 last night. Now it's back up to 142. I think that's more in the range that it should be. I'm still higher, but I didn't bet the game over because I like Arkansas State a lot. But they're up to 2.5 now. I still think they're the right side. These two won on each other's home court, but the last time they played, Troy beat Arkansas State on their court, and I feel like that's what the players remember the most, is the last game that was played.
I wouldn't want to go over in this just because looking at the metrics here, both of these teams struggle to shoot from three, and both very good defensively.
Yes, they are.
So it's kind of how this conference is, right? More or defense first, and they don't get very many contested shots or open shots. They are contested. But yeah, okay, so I have it right here. Arkansas State beat South Alabama, and Troy beat JMU to be in this spot. But both of us like the favorite in this one. Do you still like it at 2.5?
Yeah, not as much, but I do like it at 2.5 since I made it 6. So those, again, we got to win by one possession, basically. I would even look to maybe even lay the money line at $1.40. Yeah, I would lay I would lay $1.40 instead of laying 2.5.
I like it as well. I will have to switch that out. Let's go to the Southern Conference, another championship game here with Wofford and Furman. Don't know what seeding. We'll have Ryan pull those up, but seeing if there's any difference from your number here. Furman 1.5 and the total 137.5.
Yeah, again, there's another one where both teams won on each other's home court. So the last time they played, though, was at Wofford, and they lost at home. So I gave them the revenge factor, motivational, and made them 2. There was money last night for Furman, picked the 2.5, and now back it's settling in at 1.5. So not as big a play, but I do like the Wofford Terriers plus the 1.5.
Both of them want to play at a slower pace. Wofford is the better offense, second best in the league. And if you look at league play, they have been the better defense over Furman. So I do like that side as well between those two. And kind of like I was saying, though, it might be worth it just taking them on the money line instead of 1.5 if you think they're going to win. And it's a championship game here.
Yeah, that's if you can get, what do you got, plus 105? That's not bad. I could go for that. I like the game under too. As you said, the pace is going to be slow. I think it'll be a very slow down game. I do have an under there. Why do I do have an? Oh, so I adjusted my total from 135.5 down to 130.5. Took the 5 points off I've been taking 5 points off the semifinal games and the championship games.
Speaking of semifinal games, let's go to the Horizon League here. And I will tell you the first round, 3-0 to the over. The next round, 0-4, so 4-0 to the under. And now I believe you like 2 unders coming up here with Oakland and Robert Morris and Youngstown State and Cleveland State. Let's start with the first one, though. We've got Robert Morris 3.5 and the total 140.5.
And revenge, Oakland lost both regular season games, so I adjusted down to 2. So really nothing on the side. I do lean to Oakland because Greg Camp, 40 years. I haven't read if he's retiring or not, but I know he's getting there to the point where he's going to soon. 40 years of coaching, amazing. I don't know when he started, what age, but it was probably early 20s. And the team is playing for him. They've played really slow all year too. And I like the total under. I made it 134, and I took 5 points off to make it 129. Right now, 140.5. Big difference. Robert Morris far better defensively than they're on the offensive end. And then you got Oakland controlling the pace and making this a slow down contest.
I like it as well. What about, I just want to tell you really quick, because I did find some numbers here to win the tournament, see if there's any value, but Robert Morris is the betting favorite, plus 195. Then Cleveland State plus 225, Oakland plus 340, and Youngstown State plus 430. So all pretty close there. But
Robert Morris is the best team out of the 4 by 5 points. Youngstown is the worst, but they're not. I mean, they're only a point weaker than Cleveland State, but Cleveland State's got a revenge. We'll get to that game. So, boy, it's tough. I don't know what. I'd like to know what Robert Morris and Cleveland State did. I'm sure Cleveland State had revenge. What was Cleveland State? What was their price?
It is plus 225.
Plus 225. Well, they're small favorite today.
They split. They both lost on each other's home court. Cleveland State has the revenge. They lost last.
All right. Well, then I would look at maybe Cleveland State in a rollover parlay. You'll get closer to plus $3 or almost $3.50 if you did a rollover parlay, and they play very good defense. So that's a good matchup. Youngstown State. Well, this was a team that was 11-1 in conference, Cleveland State. And then they lost. They finished up 3-5 their last 8 games of the year. Maybe they got bored. It got to be February, the dog days, and they just didn't play. And now they're turning this around. They have had a player out, Reese Robinson, a freshman power forward, kind of their center. He is their big guy. They don't have much size without him. He was their biggest player at 6'8", 223. He was a power forward because they got another guy 6'9", 240. But don't know if Reese Robinson is going to play. He missed the last 3 games of the regular season. Be very important. That's something you gotta know everything about all of these teams. Youngstown State, they're one of their best players. EJ Farmer, he's been out for a while. Don't know if he's coming back. He missed the last 5 games. Let me check Robert Morris real quick for you.
Yep.
And see if they have had any injuries. They've got all their guys intact. They've all been playing. So that's a bonus. And they've been on the longest winning streak. But again, these games are going to be tough. I didn't check Oakland. And that's the team I kind of like to pull the upset because their coach. They've had everybody playing. I think Oakland is the livest team. I would bet them money line today, plus the price. We can get plus 145 with them, and then roll it over to the next game.
But you like the under. That's your best
I like the
bet
under
in that one, right?
Yeah, I have a 10-point difference, and I think it's because of Oakland, and they're going to control the pace and slow that thing down.
Going to Youngstown State and Cleveland State today. Cleveland State is 2.5 and the total 139.
And I gave revenge for Cleveland State. So I made them 3.5, but it's 2.5. So very close. My total though, 132.5, take 5 points off. I got 127.5. And these two are both way better on the defensive end than they're offensively. So I like that factor. It's 139. I have a big difference there, so I really like that total under.
I really like Cleveland State's trend 17-11 to the under on the year. Going to the Big Sky here, Montana State, Idaho, and Portland State all playing today. So let me pull up the current line right here. I don't know why I am so behind. There we go. Idaho State's 1.5, total 139.5.
Yeah, I had Idaho State a half in the game, and looking at these two teams split on the year, so my number's right there. My total, I had 146, and I took 5 points off. I'm at 141, so a 1.5 lean to the over is not enough to make a bet, but that's kind of where I lean on that game. And looking at how these teams play, really more looks like an under game because Idaho State plays extremely slow.
Yes.
And they're going to control this pace. They'll keep the possessions down into the low 60s probably.
Both of them play pretty slow. They did split in the regular season as well. Looking at Portland State, 4.5. They won both games in the regular season against Idaho, and the total is 143.
I have 4.5 on Portland State. And you said Portland State won both games, right?
Yes.
So I adjust that down to 2. I lean to Idaho here in this game, and they are playing in Boise, Idaho. So that kind of gives a little bit of home advantage, obviously, for Idaho in this game. They're not from Boise. They're from Moscow, but it's not far, Moscow to Boise, so there's going to be a lot of fans. And anybody who lives in Boise is going to root for the Vandals. So I like Idaho here, kind of playing a semi-home game with that revenge factor plus the 4.5. My total is 140. I made it 137.5. If I take 5 points off, I got 132.5. And again, this is a game where Portland State plays some very good defense. I guess we're betting Idaho. We want points scored. I may not bet this under because they're far better offensively than they are on the defensive team. So if you're betting Idaho, we're getting the far better offensive team. So hopefully they can put up points. I didn't really look at current form. Idaho's not playing the greatest, but again, You don't have to be this time of year. You look at Delaware and what they did. Teams change quickly when it comes to conference tournament time. So I think Idaho could pull the upset here. I'm going to pass on the total because I like Idaho so much.
Going with Idaho in that Big Sky matchup. Yeah, both trends to the over as well, especially on the road. Idaho 10-5 and Portland State 9-6. So that could keep you off of the under as well.
Yeah, this is a new season. I'm going to have to circle that because that's. I think Idaho's a very good play.
Going to the West Coast Conference here in Las Vegas at the Orleans Arena. Excited about these two. Really excited about the championship game that will be tomorrow. Pepperdine with a huge upset. They finished the regular season 4-14 in conference play, but here they are playing against the number 1 seed in St. Mary's. St. Mary's is a 19-point favorite, and the total is 135.5. Looking at their regular season games, the Gales 71-41 and 74-50. Very good lockdown defense. Pepperdine is they're better on the offensive side. You think they can hang around? Is that enough points here to jump in with Pepperdine?
They're playing awfully well. That gives my Idaho bet a lot more confidence because when you just mentioned how poorly Portland or Pepperdine was playing, it's a new season. It's new life. Nothing matters. You throw out all the records and you go play, and they've won 3 in a row now, which is quite amazing. And to knock off Santa Clara and Oregon State, two big upsets they pulled. Can they do it again? Oh, you don't have to pull an upset off to win a bet here. So I would lean to Pepperdine in this game, even though St. Mary's is so good. I'm just wondering if St. Mary's is thinking about tomorrow night against Gonzaga. That's who that's their big rival. So we'll see. These are the type of bets I don't do well with, though, taking a lot of points. As I mention it all the time, my handicapping is so much better, and I think the majority of people's handicapping is so much better in competitive games because you don't know. It's so random what can happen at the end of these games when they're blowouts. So I don't know if I'm even betted or not. I'm rooting for Pepperdine. I love St. Mary's, though. It's like I'm rooting for Pepperdine because it's a good story. I think Ed Schilling's a good head coach. I think he's done a nice job now with this team, getting them to peak at the right time. Now the talent level is completely different. And I think St. Mary's, if you told them again, and the motivation was there, hey, every player gets $1 million. If you guys win by 20 or more, they win by 30.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that type of motivation's there. They want to be ready for tomorrow night.
But they are still about 22 points better than Pepperdine, right? So,
yes, they are. Much better. I almost have them 24 points better.
Wow. And then giving that 2.5 for revenge, it's right there on that number.
Yeah, and I take 20% off my favorites because they, I don't want to end up on a lot of favorites. I don't want to be betting favorites. They don't need to cover spreads. They just need to win games.
Let's go to the second one. Gonzaga. San Francisco looked a little scary throughout some of that game, but they get the win. They get to go against Gonzaga here in this one. 14.5 for the Zags and 153.5 high total. We know both of them want to run, especially Gonzaga.
Yeah, I have this game 11 after I adjusted it for revenge factor, and they just played last regular season game.
Yep.
This was the Zags' last game, and they won by 20 in San Francisco. I talked about this game. Jeff was here. The three of us were talking about it, and I made a case for San Francisco days earlier, and I made a case to go against San Francisco against Oregon State. I bet Oregon State, and I was completely wrong on both of the cases. After San Francisco beat Oregon State, wasn't an automatic bet on them to beat the Zags, but I did bet the game over because I thought it was such a big, I bet it under because I thought it was such a big game. And San Francisco was not in the game whatsoever. The Zags couldn't miss that day. I think this is the third matchup, and maybe I get my under here. And I'm not even going off numbers. I'm just going off by thinking. I made the total 158.5. If I take 5 points off, it's 153.5, and that's right where the number's at. So I really don't have anything. I guess I lean to San Francisco. 14.5 points is a lot of points for a good basketball team. they are a good team. The Zags are a great team. They're a top 10 basketball team. I'm waiting for the Zags in St. Mary's, though, the next day, because I think Gonzaga wins the game. They lost both regular season games. Again, I'll take from just yesterday. I know that's a big thing when you lose both games. There's so much motivation in that third contest.
I think you just made a great point for San Francisco, though, because you're right. This is their third game. That last game of the regular season, they were playing for the 2 seed.
Yes.
They lost by 20 in that one, where the first game, they kept it close. They lost by 11, though. And now that kind of makes sense. As I'm watching San Francisco and Washington State last night, I'm like, what are they doing? Their heads aren't in this. And that's exactly why. They were already looking ahead to this game tonight against Gonzaga. Fortunate to have a good second half, but
they did have their point guard out last night, I believe, Marcus Williams.
They did have their point guard out. They were talking about that on the broadcast.
Tonight?
No, he is not. He did not travel.
Oh, that's not good. So
nope.
I would have no play in the game. I tell you one thing, though, that I may lean to the under because of that. Without your point guard, they did put up a big number last night, though, 86 points. I just don't think they can play that way against Gonzaga. Their defense has been better than their offense all year. And if they're going to beat the Zags, they're going to have to play good defense.
Well, and Washington State is out of the top 190 defensively. So the Zags are a much better defense as well. I think you just made a good case for the under here between these two.
Washington State does play fast. The Zags play a lot faster.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know if San Francisco can slow them down. They did, they held the pace to 69 in San Francisco that last meeting, and the pace was 74 at Gonzaga. I got to believe the pace is a little slower on the road for the Zags. Game came 170. Oh my gosh, that's if I make a bet on the game, I'm not really sticking to my process. My process is make your own numbers, and then figure out the strongest number you can make, and if there's a difference, bet the game. So I guess I'm just going to wait till the championship game and bet Gonzaga, because I know that they're highly motivated. But boy, oh boy.
That is one conference I forgot to give you the odds to see if they're what the Zags were right now before going into this one.
And I say that I know they're highly motivated for St. Mary's. Are they? Oh, the other thing is I didn't give home court. I can't bet San Francisco. There's no way I can bet San Francisco. There's going to be 8,000 people in the building. It's going to be a Bulldog home game. I should give home. You have to give home court for them.
Cool.
If you want to bet San Francisco, you go to the Orleans, because the number will be 2 points higher in their book than it will be anywhere else, because all of the Zag fans will be betting their team tonight.
So Gonzaga is the odds-on favorite, -145 to win it all. St. Mary's +130, San Francisco 30-1, and Pepperdine 300-1.
Wow. Yeah, they should be. They've got no chance. So $1.45 land on this. That's not bad. I'm looking at what would I make the game tomorrow. I'm gonna lay the $1.45 in Gonzaga today to win the tournament, because I'll make the Zags almost 12, which is unheard of. The number will never come that high, but I'm gonna give home court, and I've got the revenge factor. So, I think that's a really good spot to bet the Zags tonight, -145.
We have 2 more games on the board. We're going to go to the Southland Conference here, and then we will talk a little bit about Big 12. You said you already have numbers for tomorrow, so we have our Big 12, our ACC, and more coming tomorrow, which you and I will both be here, as well as Jeff Parles, to go through all of those games. But maybe just a little bit of a preview, just like this, with Gonzaga giving out a play already on Monday that could end up being very good value tomorrow. Okay, so the last 2, Northwestern State and Texas A&M. Corpus Christi here, -2.5, -4. I'm so sorry, -4, and the total 129. You made it 2.5.
Yeah, Corpus Christi won the only meeting at home this year between the two teams. I have Corpus Christi 2.5. The line is 4. I don't give revenge factor when kind of the team is supposed to win the game, but since they've only played once and now this is on a neutral, I use the revenge factor as I know in sports that athletes get overconfident. And when you lose, you really doesn't matter sometimes where the game's at. I think Northwestern State could be worth a look in this game because you're asking a Corpus Christi team that's not the greatest of teams to win and cover. And one of their best players, freshman, Isaac Williams, who's a point guard, has missed the last 7 games. Don't think he's playing. That's, it's built into the line already. You've been out for 7 games. It doesn't matter if you knew that or not. So Northwestern State must have had a bye in the conference tournament. And again, it really doesn't matter. The Corpus Christi's playing back-to-back. They didn't have to travel anywhere. But I Northwestern State's had the better season, and now they're the dog in the game. I think that's a good spot for them. I'll take them plus the points.
Yeah, and we have the bracket up there to show those playing games now to be here with Texas A&M Corpus Christi there at the 5 seed and now the favorite. Let's look at the other game here, and JR did have a question on this game too. So Incarnate Word and Nicholls State. He said 11-1 to the under for Incarnate Word in their last 12 games. Very interesting and good trend that we have there. So 3.5 for the favorite Nicholls State and 137.5.
Yeah, no, they're playing really good basketball, and that's I really didn't adjust with Jalen Anderson coming back last night. I just really like the way this team's playing. What did they do on the year? Hopefully they lost both the Nicholls State. They lost, I think they only played once. Nicholls. Yeah, once they lost at home. So there is revenge factor for this game.
Yep.
And I'll make the game Incarnate 1 because I didn't put Anderson back in the lineup. So my total 141, I'll adjust it down to 136. It's 137.5. Pace last night, very slow, very slow. 59 possessions in regulation for Incarnate, and that's why they are going under, JR, because of the pace. The last 5, 6, 7 regular season games, 62, 59, 65, 63, 62, 62, 62, and 59 possessions last night. They're playing extremely slow. They are controlling the pace of the game, and they are taking these games under. I love Incarnate Word again. I did very well with them last night. I'm going to go right back with them again today.
I think I am going to jump in as well now, knowing that the point guard is back. Vicarious Vegas did throw in the chat that Pepperdine San Francisco moneyline parlay pays 150 to 1.
What's the parlay?
Pepperdine and San Francisco.
Oh, to bet both.
Moneyline
tonight.
To get the upsets against St. Mary's and Gonzaga. But if St. Mary's loses to Pepperdine, I mean, Gonzaga knows they have to handle their business and then just have Pepperdine up next, right? Like it's kind of if they were both playing at the same time, maybe.
If it was on a road, it was a road game, I would say yes, but come on, they're both such big favorites.
And both very good teams. They both are in the NCAA without winning this.
I think the Zags. I think the Zags could make it to the Final Four again. I mean, they have that type of talent, and that means St. Mary's. I may have them a little underrated. They beat them both times this year, and it could just be a matchup thing, and it could be a defensive thing that St. Mary's defense is just so good. It's amazing how they play. We'll see what happens here in this game tonight against Pepperdine, but
they don't have any great non-con wins. The Gales, they lost Arizona State, Boise State, and Utah State early on, and their big win is Nebraska, USC. That's really it. And then they get into conference play, and they really had lockdown defense in the West Coast Conference. But that kind of concerns me because I did put a little bit of on the plus 125 for St. Mary's, see how far they can make it in the big dance.
What'd you do?
Plus 125
125 to 1?
Yes.
Oh, nice. That's good. I think that's a good ticket to have. I don't have a lot of tickets. I think I bet 3 teams. I think you wanted to go over that. Do you want to go over that now?
Yeah, let's talk about our portfolios and if we're going to add and how. Another thing that we can talk about is looking at the potential brackets. It looks like I have 2 from the same region, and you probably want to be nice and spread out, right? Have 1 from every region.
Yeah, that's always nice to have, but sometimes you can't predict that and your teams get, sent to the wrong region. I only bet 3 teams so far in the men's, and I bet 1 women's, and that's it. Purdue 65 to 1, Florida at 14 to 1, and Alabama at 14 to 1.
Oh, you did take Alabama too.
Yeah.
And you got a better number than me. So I have Bama 12 to 1. I have Purdue as well, but 60 to 1. So you got better numbers twice. I have BYU 200 to 1 that you also liked. And then St. Mary's 125 to 1. What about Michigan
That's your
State?
5?
Those are I have 4.
4. 5. Oh, you didn't bet Florida?
I don't have Florida, no.
Okay. Michigan State, yeah, they're a really good team and love the coach. Obviously, Tom Izzo knows how to win in March because what he teaches, the foundation that he sets with rebound and play defense and take care of the basketball. They do that very well, and he's got a talented team. They're well tested. They could win. I got to look at Gonzaga, and I know Jeff doesn't like the Zags. He doesn't think they're very good, but if they beat St. Mary's, that's going to be a better price on them.
So you want to look at them now before they beat St. Mary's is what you're saying?
Yeah.
You gave out Gonzaga last year, and they looked really bad in the regular season.
Yeah.
And made a run.
Yeah. Would they get the Final Four last year?
No.
8?
Yeah, I think Elite 8. We're going to take a quick break. We do have 1 request for a game tomorrow, which is awesome. If anybody else has any requests for games tomorrow, please put them in the chat. So I'll go over that when we take a break, which game it is. We'll hit that when we come back. We'll also hit hockey, just 4 games on the board today. I do like 2 unders, and then talk about maybe some conference futures in the Big 12 and the ACC. So 1-minute break. We'll be right back here on Sports by the Book.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Welcome back, everybody. Sports by the Book. I'm Alex White alongside Kenny White. 5 days a week, 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, Saturday at 9 a.m., and then Sunday at 9 a.m. as well. Saturdays at 8:30 to get you going before those 9 a.m. games. Selection Sunday coming up this Sunday. Really looking forward to that. Vinny, Chris, and I will get to be in the back making numbers for the tournament as well. Before we get to tomorrow's college basketball games, we're going to finish with today's action. We do have 4 hockey games on the board, so let's go to the ice quickly.
And my odd screen is not working. I don't know if it's the internet or what, but you're almost on your own here in the NHL because I don't have an on screen right now.
Well, here we go. We've got the Sabres hosting the Oilers. I have nothing in this game. I think that the line is just right. The total's at 6.5. We have it at 6.5 as well. Stuart Skinner against Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. So 2 good goalies, but both of them can score. No real trends besides Buffalo on a 6-game losing streak. We're going to pass that one and go to the Red Wings and the Ottawa Senators, kind of going against the trends here, but at 6, I really like this game under. I've got it even lower than 5.5, so 5.5 under, minus 135 for me. Now, the Red Wings are on a losing streak, 5 in a row, and the Senators have gone over 4 in a row. But I do trust both goalies in this, and looking at how they have played throughout the year, I do like this staying under that total. 2 more. Nothing for me in the Chicago Blackhawks and Colorado Avs. Colorado's playing very good hockey right now. 5 straight wins for them. They've won 7 at home, so that is why the number is so high here at minus 550. Now the Blackhawks have gotten a boost though, getting Spencer Knight from Florida, so they have been playing better as of late. I don't know if we want to make a case there though for that dog. I'm just going to pass on that one.
Yeah, that price got really high and really high quickly.
But like I said, I mean, we know how good the Avs are and how much talent is on that team. So when they start playing really good hockey. Last one, though, I do like this under as well. Toronto Maple Leafs and the Utah Hockey Club. I made this game 5.5 as well. So under that 6, 2 really good goalies as well. Anthony Stolarz has been the best goalie for Toronto on the year. And looking at the median numbers here, Utah, 2 goals for, 2.5 goals against at home. They have really struggled at home this year, even though they are playing better as of late as well. But going based off of the numbers and what I made both of them, 2 unders for me.
Yeah, it's they play extremely low in their home games, so that's a good spot. And I think that Toronto may be a little lower scoring on the road than they are at home, but don't know that for sure.
I'm trying to.
But Utah, wow, that's a really low scoring games. They've got to have a lot of unders at home.
And that's it for hockey. Now we're going to go to looking ahead to some college basketball games tomorrow. So Rob did ask about Siena and Ryder. Do you have your numbers?
Pulling it up right now. And all I got to do is find Siena and Ryder. All right, I made Ryder the favorite in the game 1 and 143. I think Siena will be a small favorite in the game. 2 in that range.
So it could be some value there if we get a good enough number on Ryder.
Yeah, I think so. Let me double check one thing. I didn't factor in revenge factor or anything like that yet. I just made strictly pure numbers, and Ryder has played well. It is on a neutral, so I have to I'm going to have to take that back. I was giving a little home court for. Oh, and Ryder
actually won the regular season game 61-59
at home. That's the only meeting they have between the two. I think that Siena will be a small favorite here in this game, and I'll make them a small favorite. So I would say Siena 3 should be the number, and the total, about 140, I think is a good total. I'm going to take 5 points off my total, make it 138.
So we have the Metro Atlantic starting tomorrow. We also have the Western Athletic Conference starting tomorrow, ACC, Big 12. So a lot of really good games coming up.
I'm looking. Yeah, I did have that. I've got 2 columns going, and I don't know how I got home and away stuck in my player notes, but I did have that as a neutral game. So I do have Ryder 1 point better. I think Siena could be the favorite in the 2 to 2.5 to 3 range. So I'm probably looking to bet Ryder in that game.
Yeah, because it's in Atlantic City.
Yeah. ACC. I've got those 3 games done.
Yeah, let's go.
Pittsburgh and Notre Dame should be a really good game. I made Pittsburgh 4.5 and 138. I do lean to the under in that contest. I think the total is going to be in the low 140s.
The Fighting Irish won the first one, 76-72.
California and Virginia Tech. I have Cal, small favorite, 2.5. And my total, if I adjust it down, would be 133.5. I think this is going to come in the 140s. Would definitely have an underplay in Cal and Virginia Tech.
Ooh, Virginia Tech wants to play slow. Cal wants to pick it up, but they are by far the better offense. That's why you have them as the favorite, right?
Yes. A lot of these teams, though, the slower team has a little better chance of controlling the pace in competitive games on a neutral court. So I think this will be a slower paced game.
Okay. And then one more, Syracuse and Florida State.
I have Florida State 1, and I'm going to make my adjustment on the total 149. I think Florida State will be a little bigger favorite than this, so I may be looking at betting Syracuse tomorrow.
What'd you say the total?
149, and I think it'll be around 150.
Yeah. Both of them playing
there.
fast. First game was 90-74, Florida State winning that one. Just quickly, while we're here at the ACC, really nothing I don't think that we can bet on. Duke, odds-on favorite, -$4 to win the ACC tournament. Now, the next two that were right there all year long, Clemson and Louisville, both 7-1. And then it really drops off. North Carolina's 30-1 and SMU 60-1.
Let me pull up my ratings on the teams to see.
Wow.
With Duke right now winning the championship in the regular season, I'm just not sure how much motivation they have of winning the conference tournament.
Mm.
So let me see here. This is the ACC. Duke, I've got the number 1 team in the country by far. Well, they should dominate. Oh my gosh, they're 13 points better than Louisville, and they're probably playing in. I don't know where's the tournament.
Is that bracket set, or
what's Duke?
It is set. So no matter what Duke's gonna, if North Carolina wins their 2 games, they're gonna face Duke. Okay. That could be a case. You could make that case for Louisville or Clemson that maybe UNC gets their revenge from losing both regular season games and knocks off Duke to then have an easier route.
I'd like to have a better team.
Yeah.
I just said I got a 13-point difference between Duke and Clemson and Louisville.
So that's how big of a difference, because then
you're on a neutral court
back.
and you give 2.5 points for home revenge. Duke's still going to be
Charlotte.
10 points better. So it's in Charlotte. I think they all have about the same amount of fans. North Carolina State, and Duke.
Yeah.
Will go to those games. The women's game, I did monitor that. NC State actually had more fans in women's basketball, but men's basketball, I would think they would all. North Carolina probably has the most fans out of all the teams. But I think that it'll be pretty evenly split. I think Duke, it's a 3-game winning streak here. They're just so much better than everybody else in the conference. What is their price? I feel like they have to be an out price.
Yeah, they are.
What are they?
-$4.
Oh, -$4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they should be. That may be too low. They're double-digit favorite in 3 straight games.
I don't know if I want to bet 400 to win 100 though for them to win this tournament. They're set on the big tournament, the NCAA tournament.
There's no doubt there. But they play who? Virginia or Georgia Tech?
Yep.
It's going to be probably Georgia Tech, and they're 26 points better in game 1. So they're winning that game.
Yep.
And then they play Wake Forest.
Well, or North Carolina, or Pittsburgh. Seeing who gets there.
It's probably going to be, it could be an upset. And if Wake upsets them, they're going to be 20-point favorite in the second game.
Wow.
As well. And then they play Louisville or Clemson, and they're going to be 10. So they're 20-point favorite, 20-point favorite, and 10-point favorite. I think they're getting to the finals. So you're laying $4. That might be another one that I may lay the $4 on them. 82-69
win over North Carolina in that final game. And
Again-
it was close
again,
at half.
Money management on these future wagers. If you're going to bet Duke minus $4, you're still only betting your 1% bet, but you're actually going to wager 4% of your bankroll to win 1%. So if you have $1,000, you're going to bet $40 to win 10.
Wouldn't you rather take? It's not a big plus price, but it's a plus price on Duke to win the NCAA tournament. At this point, we've seen how good they have been all year long,
Yeah.
and we're kind of sleeping on them. We're trying to find value here with other teams like BYU because you're getting 200 to 1. But
Right.
realistically, I mean, there's probably now it's down to what, 8 teams that you think could win it all?
Well, we got it. What's the bet here at the South Point? The SEC against the field,
I was actually just going to pull that up as well.
because that way you're going to get Houston and Iowa State and Texas Tech and
Michigan State.
Michigan State going for you.
And you already have Florida and Bama in your pocket. The only one you don't have is Auburn.
Right.
And maybe Tennessee, who's been playing better down the stretch. But yeah, let me see. Basketball props. Field minus 125.
And what's Duke? Plus what?
Let me see. That's the tournaments. Now I see them up. Okay, I might have been giving bad numbers. Duke is 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
I think they're worth the bet at 3-1 to win it all, but I like them actually better minus $4
Wow.
to win 3 games.
Because they're that much better than every team in that conference.
I think they're 26-point favorite in the first game and a 20-point favorite in the second game, and then a 10-point favorite in the last game. So you're laying basically $4 on a 10-point favorite in the championship game.
Only 3 losses on the year, only 1 in conference play. That was Clemson, correct? Yeah, Clemson 77-71. It's their only conference loss. All right.
Just they're a very good basketball team. They're playing great. They're just so much better than everybody else in the conference. It's ridiculous how much better they are. But again, manage your money. Don't over bet it. You're already going to bet 4% of your bankroll to win 1%.
Of those conference tournament odds that I was giving out, I originally had Westgate's up. So anybody that is watching, if they were not accurate, check your South Point app, because now that I'm up, I see that we have all of the conference odds here as well. Just a couple. I want to double check if they are different. We didn't do the AAC. We did the ACC. Here it is. Duke minus $4 still. Okay. And then Louisville's only 6-1 though here. So somebody might have taken a little bit of that. Clemson 7-1, and then North Carolina 30-1. So those are all very similar there. But yeah, so we do have conference tournament odds here at the South Point as well, if you are stopping in. And he's betting 4-1 right now. Minus 4-1 for Duke to win the tournament. I think that's it for us for today. Tomorrow, Jeff Parles will be back with us at the desk. We will go through Big 12, ACC, and those other smaller tournaments starting as well. JR, congratulations. Back on top with the correct guess in our trivia. Please,
Yes, that's no guess with JR.
with his correct answer.
It's not guessing.
I read that straight off the doc. I should have double checked with my monitor before just reading. Checking in with the chat. Dean Hilt requests South Carolina and Arkansas for tomorrow.
Yeah, South Carolina and Arkansas. What's let me see.
Cover it tomorrow. Yes, because they don't start until Wednesday. They start early Wednesday.
Oh yeah, 10 a.m. game. Yeah, 10 a.m. game on Wednesday.
All right, Dean Hill, you got it. We'll be ready for the SEC as well. Thank you, everybody. And then Christopher said go Duke in there. We appreciate all of you. Please continue to jump in with us in the chat. Vince is constantly monitoring that for us. Please like, share, and subscribe. This is Sports by the Book. You can find us on the YouTube channel each and every day here at the South Point studio. For Kenny White and the rest of the crew, I'm Alex White. We'll see you again tomorrow, Tuesday, March 11th. It is not March 11th. It is still March 10th. We just forgot an important segment of our Sports by the Book show. It is our whiteboard segment, and these are our best bets of the day. I'm keeping it very simple today. I will go through my 3 and then pass it over to the Wizard of Odds here. So 3 plays for me in college basketball. I like Arkansas State winning that conference tournament game at -140. It's moved to -2.5, so I'm going to avoid the spread and just go for them to win outright. I'm going for Wofford +105. They are the underdog getting 1.5. I'm just taking them on the money line. And Incarnate Word +3.5. Playing very good basketball right now. I do have 2 hockey totals I like. They did not make the whiteboard, though, but I will just throw those out. Red Wings and Senators under 6, and then Maple Leafs and the Utah Hockey Club under 6 as well.
Pretty similar, Alex. I like Arkansas State on the money line -$1.40. I like Idaho +4.5. And Incarnate Word. It's my new favorite team. Getting 3.5 from Nickel State today. So there are my 3 whiteboard plays for the day.
All right, both hoping to go 3-0 today. Good luck to everybody else and whatever other bets you made today. We will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. right here at the desk on Sports by the Book.